How do those things not just deter people from not doing like, we had a lot of paperwork. I almost didn't change my last name because of that paperwork.
Yes, I remember that you had, I remember that about you.
Yes, I was a Luke, and they say your first wedding anniversary theme is paper. So it's like paperwork. I have your last name now. Happy anniversary.
Exactly.
Let's talk tails. This next Tales with Taylor guest has over 40 years of experience in legal and compliance roles, working with NYSE and Nasdaq public companies, as well as large private companies, specializing in insider trading compliance, SEC reporting, and governance. She now uses her corporate expertise to help small businesses, entrepreneurs, and individuals achieve financial security with tax advantage strategies. Passionate about supporting women in unique situations, especially those navigating divorce or widowhood. My guest today empowers them to reach their retirement goals and plan for the future. Inspired by a personal family crisis, she focuses on tax-free income solutions, wealth protection, and legacy planning, providing peace of mind for her clients. It's Betty Pecha of A&M Futures, LLC. Welcome!
Thanks, Taylor. I'm so happy to be here today.
I'm so happy to have you here today. So tell me the tale behind the name A&M Futures.
A&M Futures came about actually over a glass of wine with my husband.
Having wine, my goodness.
Coffee works, and he's the extra buzz with the coffee. It stands for my children. A is for Alana, M is for Michaela, and the Futures was I was thinking about their future.
How beautiful is that?
Thanks.
How beautiful. So, you shared in your bio that this career venture, stem from a personal experience. Do you mind sharing a little bit about what that is?
I have no problem with that. And there's two of them. The first one was in 2008, October. My husband had a really bad accident where I always said that the skill saw altercation and the skill saw won. He was cutting pallets to use as firewood to go on a fishing trip. And he cut every muscle in his arm. He hit the vein the artery and the nerves and chipped the bone. And it took him 2 surgeries. First, the stop so that he would, stop bleeding and stay alive, which I'm quite grateful for. And then the surgeon came out and said, "Wow, Betty, this is the worst surgery I've seen in a really long time." And then the second surgery, who is number 4 in the state of Arizona for having a synthetic nerve put in his hand.
Wow.
What happened after that was, you're just trying to focus on making your life happen. His insurance refused to pay. So I reached out to my financial planner and said, "I need money." Because I need the money to pay his medical bills, to pay ASU for my one daughter, just to pay the bills.
So you had both your daughters at this time, and one of them already in college, which is a pretty penny.
Right, yeah, exactly. And they never asked me what I was using that money for. So I got hit with a 10% penalty because I was under 59 and a half, plus all the taxes. And I didn't know. I wasn't thinking. I was just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And so that was like my first wow, if I would have known things that I know now, things would have been different. I wanted to clean out a lot of money out of my IRA and, life would have been simple. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is my youngest daughter went through a divorce. Mm-hmm. And that's really what got me focused on women going through transition, because I sat there with the attorney with her. I gave, I'm a spreadsheet checklist queen. And so I gave her all these spreadsheets and here's the assets, here's the liabilities, here's whatever. And she just looked at me with regard to the financial portion. She was lost. And I'm like, no, this cannot be. And so that's what got me moving forward with women that are going through divorce. And it was really interesting when you put that out, that's what comes to you. Yeah. And so I ended up helping her and helping other women who are going through divorce, who are lost with their financial world, and just helping them get to where they need to be to make sure that they're going to have sustainability, which is really important, and to have a retirement income when they're ready for that. So that's what brought that together. And in the midst of all of this, I ended up working with women who are also going through widowhood. And my heart went out to this gal. She's only in her 70s, but if you would meet her, you would think she was in her 90s. She was very frail. And she was also taking care of her daughter with disabilities. And her husband's financial planner neglected to put her down as a trustee on her own trust.
Oh my goodness.
But put himself down as a POA. Can you believe that? And I was like, whoa. So with that case, we had to get attorneys involved. And it took us 9 months to get that all cleaned up. But at least I know that now she's okay. And she's going to have, the funds that she needs. And our goal is also to make sure that her daughter with disabilities is going to be taken care of too. So that's our story.
Wow, that's so sad. Do you find that there's like a common pitfall, or perhaps any kind of common themes amongst people who you've been helping, or are there general tips that you would have for people?
For the women that are going through divorce or just contemplating it, I put together a guide.
Oh.
And we can, we'll be able to have that up on our website, or if somebody just reaches out to me, I'll be getting that out to everyone.
Or send a link and we'll have it in the show notes. So
that'd be great. Thank you.
It, definitely.
And it's just even simple things that they don't think about. But what I'm finding is I'm asking, let me see your divorce decree. And I'm finding money that they didn't realize that they had. Or I'm finding a lot of gray or silver divorces are going on right now. And those hit home because, oh my goodness, she got married the same year I did.
Oh, wow.
And you're like, oh, okay. And this one gal, she was very lost. She didn't have any idea. So one of the things that she wanted to do was remodel her kitchen. I'm like, all right, if that's going to make you happy, we're going to set this money over here. We're going to make this money grow for you, and we're going to make this money be your income. And so that it all worked out really well, but it was helping her get through those steps. Even like silly things, like when you're starting a divorce, get a new email address.
Okay.
And so that you can just put all of those emails into that bucket. Okay. So everything is right there. And then your spouse also doesn't have access to that email.
Got it.
Set up a bank account. Your own private bank account at a different bank.
Oh, at a different bank?
At a different bank.
Why is the need for a different bank?
It's just because then they're not going to say, oh, she just forgot to put me on, or things like that.
Oh, okay.
So there's just little tidbits and tips that I have in the guide just to help you do that. But
that's a good guide. That's stuff I really wouldn't have ever thought of that. I truly hope never to go down the path of divorcehood, but little things like that are important to know.
They're very important. And one of the biggest thing that we forget to do is a little bit of self-care. Because if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not thinking clearly, and then it's really hard to make the big decisions that we need to make. So, and then especially my heart goes out because I have 2 little baby grandsons. So you got 2 little babies yourself.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that they're taken care of. What happens if the ex-spouse paying child support gets into an accident?
Yeah.
Well, there's different vehicles that we can use to make sure that even if he isn't working, that money can still go to the mom for those necessary things.
That's important. Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah, kids are expensive, that is for sure.
And they always are.
Yes, and it's getting more and more the older they get.
It is. Have you looked at the price of college?
I have not. No, I'm banking on some scholarships. Hopefully, we're just gonna work the academics and the athletics. Between those two, hopefully we'll get a winner.
This is good. That's good.
Yes. So tell me, what's a tale you wish you would have told your younger self? And it could be in terms of finances, or it can be in terms of starting your own business, or it can just be in terms of, self-care. What's something you wish you would have told your younger self a little more?
Probably with my younger self, I would have told myself that it's really important to have self-care. Because I was so busy, and I think like a lot of women, taking care of everybody else, that you kind of forget to take care of yourself. And then you're like, oh, what do I like to do for myself? I'm not really sure. That's probably the number one tip. Because when you're taking care of yourself, just like, what they tell you on an airplane, if the mask, you have to put the mask on yourself so you can take care of your whoever's with you. But yeah, so that would probably be it. A little bit more self-care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one guest on who said she started taking herself out on dates. Like, would just take herself to the movies, take herself out to dinner, take herself to get nails done, and like didn't need to have the girlfriend with her or have a boy. It was just like, no, I'm going to truly like do what I would want to do on my date.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I started, reading when I want to. No, sorry guys, I like to read, so I'm going to do that and get back out there hiking, and because when you're out in nature, it just is wonderful.
Yes, the energy you have, especially here in Arizona. We're so lucky to be able to, most of the year, even during the summer, go out early enough or at least just go to the pool and swim for a bit.
Exactly.
So, you said that you love to read. What's your favorite tale you've ever read?
Oh my goodness, that one's a hard one. I love David Baladucci.
Okay.
So he writes more of a thriller mystery type things, and Dan Brown with all his symbolism and things like that. I like that. So.
Okay, fun. What's your favorite tale you've ever watched? What movie?
I think it's a whimsical show. I think that my favorite movie is probably The Princess Bride.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. I definitely like that.
What about you? What's your favorite?
Oh, goodness. I would have to say I probably have like a close to a top 5, but one of my most favorite, I think just because of how much it affected me when I watched it, was Dead Poet Society.
Oh, that was a great one.
Just carpe diem, I watched it, I think I was like in middle school, and it just stuck with me. So that would have to be up there.
That was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. Yes, we've had Carpe Diem coming around our house ever since then. Yeah. That and Akuma Matata from...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, The Lion King. That's another great one. Definitely. I still cry to this day when Mufasa dies. I don't know why. I know it's going to happen. I know it's a cartoon. I can't help it.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yes. And so I feel like finances is such a tough topic in our life, because we need money to survive, but we're not taught ever anything truly about it. When do you think parents should even start talking to their children about finances, about retirement, about, what's an IRA, what's a, 401k, all the things?
When they're 5.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is they take little tidbits that you learn, even if, you take a little bit and you explain to them, okay, this is what grandma gave you for your birthday. Let's take some of it and we're going to use that for a gift for you. And then let's take some of it and we're going to put it into your savings account. Or I actually prefer using other vehicles than a savings account so that they can see that interest grows.
Okay.
And that way they learn, and then they can see it grow, and they get the gist of it, instead of just thinking that money grows on trees.
Yes. And so, what other avenues do you like more than a savings account then? Do you do like the 529 plans, or what would be some of the, key,
So I like using different types of vehicles that are, okay, so my theory on life is all about a chocolate cake.
Okay.
All right. And chocolate cake, do you like chocolate cake?
I like chocolate cake.
All right, I like chocolate cake. And I don't care if it has frosting on it or not.
Oh, it better have frosting.
Okay, so then we're going to talk about that frosting, because frosting is important. So the chocolate cake is where you have all your savings built up that's protected, okay? But it's growing. And you can reach into it before you're 59 and a half, so you don't get dinged, all right? So if you have a chocolate cake, and that chocolate cake represents paying for any and all of your bills, okay? And you have that as a sustainable income coming in, so you're never freaking out about how am I going to pay my mortgage, or how am I going to pay the medical expense that you didn't think about. Or in Arizona, oh great, my HVAC just went down. How am I going to fix it?
In the middle of July.
Right.
It's never in the wintertime.
Exactly. And then you have your frosting. So then your frosting is for more of those investments that are what excite you, what you're passionate about. So if it's gold, if it's, a particular stock that you like, and because anything that the frosting is tied to has its volatility. So it goes up and it's down, but it's there for the long run. As soon as we have that chocolate cake in place, that's where I think it's important. And so when we're talking about a 529 plan or a 401k, those are kind of the frosting because they go up and down with the market.
They're like sprinkles on the frosting, maybe, right?
Right. So, but if you have employment and somebody's giving you a 401k and they're matching it, take that free sprinkles. I love that. I'm going to use that. Use that, and keep that growing.
Okay.
But then on the other side, I want you to use another product, either an index universal life or a fixed annuity. And the reason I'm saying that is because when the market goes down, you're not going to lose money. The money's going to just continue to grow. So I had a friend whose daughter went to NAU, and the first year she was there, the first quarter she was there, she ran into a lot of medical issues. They're from Oregon. So she had to fly home for the doctors and this and that. And she did that like 3 or 4 times.
That's a shame.
Just in the first semester.
That's so tough.
Right. It's really, really tough. Well, can you use that money out of your 529 plan to pay for those travel expenses?
Probably not. That wouldn't count.
We can't. That's the only reason I don't really care for a 529 plan is because it has so many restrictions.
So many restrictions. I was literally having a conversation with my aunt and uncle who said they wanted to try to set something up for my kids. And I was like, I don't know, 529. I'm concerned about the restrictions.
Right.
Yeah.
So like what I did with my grandsons was I put together an index universal life for them.
Okay.
A couple of reasons. One, it's very inexpensive. And 2, it grows.
Okay.
It really does grow so that when they need to pull the money out for tuition, it's going to be there. And of course, there's all this mumbo jumbo or whatever, legal or insurance language or whatever, but I can make that very simple so that anyone can understand it. The whole point is to get growth. So they have that money for school, or they have that money to start a business if they don't want to go to school.
Right.
And so they can use it to go to a trade school if that's what they want to do, instead of a university or anything like that, or take it for a down payment on a house.
Right. Or perhaps they have a good scholarship academically but need help with the, lodging and things like that.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And then when they're 65 or 66 and they want to retire, they have money coming into them that's tax-free. That's the other thing that's cool. 529 plan is still taxable. Using an index universal life is not taxable when you pull the money out as a loan. So it's just things like that. And the other thing too is I like putting insurance on a child because what if something happens to them when they're 10? This happened with my daughter when they were in high school, and a couple of the boys were out being not too smart. They were being boys, what can I say? And they had an accident. And it affected him for the rest of his life.
Right.
And so then he was never insurable. And so the other thing that with the index universal life, if he would have had that on him, he would have had money to take out to cover his care for, make any different changes that he needed to make to his life. It would have been there for him.
Wow. So you're saying as early as 5, though, is a good time to start thinking about that, or as early as when they're born to think about it?
I did my grandsons before they were a year.
Okay. So it's never too early then to start planning for that.
Right. Okay. Right. And like I said, I can teach you as a parent how to make it grow. And use grandma's funds to put that little extra into the savings section of that plan.
That's excellent. So you really think that it's important to maybe, diversify
Absolutely.
everything. You shouldn't have all your financial eggs in one basket.
Correct. No, I think that you should have multiple baskets. And when you're even looking at it, you should have maybe a taxable basket, which is your 401k or a traditional IRA.
Okay, so the taxable ones, like right now, it's the 401k, the traditional IRA, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then you have your deferred tax, which is also could be considered a 401k because when you pull the money out, that's when you're getting taxed. So that's really more of a deferred tax, okay?
Which is important for people to know because when we think about history, typically throughout history, taxes are going to go up. So sometimes, that's where you do want to have that variety play.
Right.
Because sometimes it might be beneficial to pay for the taxes now.
Absolutely.
And then you could potentially save later.
Right.
Or, there are the deferred payments where depending on the situation of the government, who knows what the tax code will be. And so,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then your last bucket is that tax-free bucket.
Okay.
So that's where what you just got through saying, where you pay the taxes now, and then when you have the money come out later,
you don't have to repay again. You've already paid it on the rate of what it was before.
Right.
Versus what could be, who knows, 50, however many years down the road.
Right. And even with some of those, you're going to have tax on the gain, but you're not going to have tax on what you put in there.
Okay.
Okay. So those are things to look at. And so the things that fall into that category are called non-qualified plans. So a 401k is a qualified plan. A pension is a qualified plan usually. And then non-qualified plans are like your index universal life, a qualified annuity you can use for that. And yeah, there's just different things that you can do.
Why in the world is this not a required course in high school? I tell you, I was required to take, 4 credits of math, 4 credits of English, 2 credits of, a social studies and a science. Where's our financial credit that we're required to take?
I wish that they would. I really do. And I know that there are some organizations that are out there trying to educate as much as we can. And I know that if I can get in front of students, I will definitely do it just to try to teach them the basics.
But it just feels more than a hour seminar. I've spoken to you numerous times, and I've spoken to numerous, financial experts, and I still, I feel like I need a full semester course to fully get a hang on it.
Well, and then it doesn't help that, the tax laws change. Yes. And so you're trying to come up with now they have Secured 2.0, and now they're looking at, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? The Tax Act of 2017.
How do you stay up to date with all this information and all these changes?
I read a lot.
Well, good that you like reading.
I read a lot, and I have a great team that helps me keep up on all of that stuff.
Oh, excellent. So you do have a team, that can assist. So if you're not necessarily available for a call, someone will then maybe respond or
yes,
get a hold
and
of you.
it's nice having the backup.
Yeah.
So that like you said, things change so often, and the products that are out there change, and they're always for the better. So like I was just telling you about the IUL, I was using this one all the time, and then all of a sudden they updated it. It's 24% better return. I'm like, okay, we'll take that.
Yeah.
So that's great. So we want to keep looking at those types of things, and it takes a team to do that because as many flavors there are Slurpees, there's that many different, are Slurpees still a thing? I'm not sure that.
I was following them. Yes.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know, I still feel like one of those math credits that I was supposed to take in high school should have been a understand financing, credit from, what the 401k is to, and everything. Because being a business owner, I have to build it all. I don't have the employer. I am the employer, who had to figure out, the 401k plans and, all those things.
Well, and then depending on the size of your business, that helps you try to figure out what would be the best type of plan for you. If you're big, you can look at a 401k. If you're smaller, you can look at different versions that are like that. But then you also take into consideration, what are the goals? Do you just want the goals to be a write-off for the company? Or do you want it to be tax-free income for the employee and for yourself?
Definitely.
And then, there's always those rules about, well, if you're going to give yourself 6%, that means you have to give everybody else 6%. So all
Got to keep it fair.
Yeah. Exactly. Got to make it fair.
Definitely. Do you find that there's like a secret? Obviously, everyone's lifestyle is a little different, so there's never going to be a total definitive number. But is there like a goal number of like you want to try to have X for retirement to have a comfortable retirement in the United States? Or
That's a really good question. It seems like that number keeps going up. We used to think, oh, we have $1 million.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking it's like 1.7.
1.7.
Just to be comfortable. And things change. And so you need to have a financial planner who's willing to sit down with you quarterly or annually to see where you need to pivot. And I think that's where your goal is, because pivoting is really important. Looking at the strategies that are out there are really important. And if they don't show up or call you or keep in touch with you, you need to find a new financial planner.
What would be other attributes that you would look for when looking for, financial advice, financial planners? What are some of those? Communications one I'm hearing. They actually reach out to you to schedule annuals,
Right.
reviews and things. What are some other attributes you should look for?
It seems like a lot of financial analysts like to talk with big words.
Okay.
They like to use the jargon, and I just don't think that's right.
Yeah.
You need to simplify it because it's not a scary thing. It really isn't. And so many of us are terrified of it. And that's what I'm finding with the women that I'm working with. They're like, I have no idea what that means. Yeah. Okay, that's okay. Let's break it down. And I don't know if it's because of my corporate background. I like to draw pictures.
That's great, though. Yeah, people are very visual normally.
Right. And I always start out with a PowerPoint that explains this is a qualified plan. This is a non-qualified plan. This is what we want to do here. No, I don't want more than $250,000 in this account for you, because that's when the FDIC goes, just those kind of things. We're not going to put, all $1 million in this account. We're going to break it up so that you have it together. And one of the things that I think is really cool is to have 4 accounts, let's just say, and 4 accounts for income, all right, a stream of income, so that when one is getting depleted, you kick the next one in.
Okay.
Just because you don't know how much time you're going to be here on Earth.
So with 4 accounts of income, is that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but is that like having, your primary, career or job, and then having, investments, or having different retirement funds, or is it having a side gig? Like, what are those different
So what I
buckets?
was talking about in my little head was to have 4 different investment accounts that are tied for income. You're not going to start out with 4.
Okay.
That's just not realistic. And I like being and everybody's different, but the more you can get, then you start with one, go to the next one, and you never have to worry.
Okay.
And there was a documentary that was out a couple years ago, and it was called The Baby Boomer Dilemma.
The Baby Boomer Dilemma.
And I recommend it for everybody to look at, even though I think it came out in October of 21. It's still very real, and it had great people on it, as far as educators and those that are up in government, those that really understand all the tax laws and everything that goes around it. And the unfortunate thing is that your 401k or your pension plan, the odds of it being mismanaged are great. And because of the way taxes are, it's going to just get eaten away, and then you're not going to have anything.
So you're saying we should still have a sock drawer full of cash?
Maybe, but we want that sock drawer making some money for you.
That's true.
So that's back to the chocolate cake. So you just have that chocolate cake thing so that it's making money for you while you're sleeping. You're not really having to worry too much about it.
That is true. The socks don't know how to make money.
No, they don't. They're not so good at it. And what's so funny is I do have clients that have money under their mattress. And I'm like,
well, I'm sure it's also
okay.
generational, because I just think about, when my, husband's grandfather passed away, they said like going through his house, it was just like under the mattress, behind this picture, like inside a book, like it was just sprinkled. Do you find that there are some like generational consistencies like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's money hidden in different places, or I guess my favorite is that they've made investments and they've totally forgotten about them. And so you never know what you're going to find.
So any suggestions then to help your loved ones? What can you do as someone whom, maybe your time isn't coming up right away, but you never know. What are things you can do in order to help your loved ones, find the treasure map?
It's right here. It's this cup of coffee. And I'm kind of, being funny, but sit down, have a talk. That is the biggest thing. And there's certain generations that have a really hard time having that talk.
Yeah, finances are almost taboo. It's like politics, religion, finances.
Right. And I have a checklist, of course, that I'm more than happy to share with anyone.
Look for a download link.
Okay. So that they can just sit down and you'll know what your credit cards are. You'll know where all of your investments are. And, just write it on this one sheet of paper. It's double-sided. Just write it down there so you know where you're at.
Perfect.
That's it.
And then just give it to whoever the trustee is, whoever, the head of the household is.
Right,
let
but
them know
also
where it is.
make sure that the kids know where it is.
And the kids, yes.
So that if something were to happen to both parents, they know, and even, this isn't on my sheet, but even having like passwords. Make sure they know where you keep all your passwords so they know how to find that to help you.
Definitely.
So because not only does it help if both were to pass or the single individual left, the survivor passes, but when dad passes, mom's not going to be thinking straight.
So true. So the simpler you can make life by having, finances, it's just the biggest pain sometimes.
It is.
That you can then totally simplify. I think it's Bill Burr that actually has a joke. The most narcissistic thing you can do as a narcissist is not have a plan when you die.
That's so true. I'm so sorry.
It's a great joke. It's true.
It's true. And it's just, sit down, maybe at Easter or I don't know, your birthday. Everybody's going to come see you on your birthday.
There you go. And it's all about you, and it's okay to talk about you on your own birthday.
And there is no faux pas. There is nothing hidden. Just be honest.
Yeah. Why do you think there is a stigma behind finances and even talking to our own trusted family members about finances?
Well, I think that one is either the matriarch or patriarch doesn't want the kids to know how much money they have, or is embarrassed by the money that there isn't there. It's either one or the other. But when you can just break it down and say, this is because I want to take care of you and mom, and we just want to make sure everything is going to be okay. So my sister is 20 years older than I am.
Okay.
And so we've had this conversation with her. And I'm like, I don't want to be her financial planner. That's too close to me. But I am making sure that the people around her are well educated and she's seeing the right people. And that's all you can do. Yeah. And every once in a while I'll think of something and I'll pick up, hey, did you do this? And she's like, I don't know, ask so-and-so. And I do. Yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, we did. I'm like, great. I just want to make sure that, everything is the way it should be when someone passes. And it also depends on what state you live in. Okay. You need to really be aware of what the estate, if there are any estate taxes. Arizona, we don't have that. So that's great. But a lot of other states do. So we want to make sure, like one of my clients has a lot of real estate. Okay. And we're using one of her vehicles that we put together for her. Basically, it's just to pay all the taxes in all the other states. But you need to be thinking about that kind of thing.
That is interesting. And that's something to also think about perhaps when you're thinking of where to retire within a state.
Oh, absolutely.
And so how do you get that information? I'm sure anything's Googleable, but is there a particular resource that you use in order to stay up to date on tax laws for each state?
That's a really good question. I talk to a lot of CPAs.
Okay. So it's
Yeah,
good
your
to have
CP
trusted, colleagues. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I try to make sure that I have estate attorneys, divorce attorneys, CPAs, so that I can recommend those people out to other people where it's, I know this much to get you by, but I want you to talk to the expert.
Well, that's excellent, though, that you are wanting to be a true resource for people. You mentioned
Absolutely.
one of your passions are to help people going through divorce, are to help people, through those huge transitions of life that, if they're going through a divorce, they're always going to need a good divorce attorney. So that's good that you can refer that because, those are hard battles that you definitely need someone, in your corner to help you out.
Right. And then even when you're going through a divorce, I think you also need to look at having an estate attorney if you can too, because all of those things are going to change. Just like when you're divorced, you need to go and you need to change the beneficiaries on your life insurance. You need to change the beneficiaries on your IRA. And those are just things that you don't really
How do
think
those
about.
things not just deter people from not doing like that's a lot of paperwork. I almost didn't change my last name because of that paperwork.
Yes, I remember that you had. I remember that about you.
Yes, I was a Luke, and they say your first wedding anniversary theme is paper. So it's like paperwork. I have your last name now. Happy anniversary.
Exactly. That's so funny. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. So it was my 1-year anniversary gift. Paperwork.
There you go. I love it. But at least you have the right last name now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Although I'm sure, still in people's phones, I still pop up as Luke.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still Luke all over the place. Luke Wellman, same thing. It's so confusing for us women, I feel.
It is. It's like, why did we change our last name?
Yeah.
Mine got shorter, so that's good.
See, and sometimes, I personally love the name Wellman, because I play with it. It's all Wellman. And, my husband doesn't like it so much, but it's fun.
It is.
It is
fun.
So tell me, what's your favorite animal with a tail?
Animal with a tail?
Animal with a tail. Or tails with tailors, so sometimes I get a little punny.
At the moment, it's a pity.
A what?
A pit bull?
Oh, a pit bull. I heard a pity. So I didn't know if it was like a mixture of a pig and a pit bull.
Oh, no.
I was like, that is an interesting animal right there.
We have a pit bull lab that's, he loves to swim.
Lovely.
And he's doing things right now that are not good, which is he's getting older.
Oh.
But he's like the biggest lovable baby in the whole wide world. He is actually afraid of babies and puppies.
What? There's so many misconceptions when it comes to pits. I've met so many pits that are just either the shyest or the sweetest. I met this gigantic beast of a pit before that was just loving on this tiny bunny. It's just...
Yes, and we have to make sure that he doesn't leave with the FedEx man because, it's a place it's somewhere I can go for a ride.
Oh no, he likes car rides?
Yes, yes. If I can go for a ride, I'm going.
That's super cute.
Yeah, he's a really good dog. So I guess he's my favorite right now.
Okay, a pit bull. Yeah, when I heard pity, I thought I heard pig and a pit bull together.
Well, I guess it's a pity because he's a big baby.
Oh, okay.
So, he's actually a princess.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we do call him princess. So.
All right, very nice. No, that's cute. It's like my daughter. She'll just add a Y to everything. So it's dashy, daddy, cuppy, everything is just an E at the end.
There you go.
To make it extra cute sounding.
Exactly.
And so if you were to leave, the guests with one tip or one piece of advice or one thing that they could do to help themselves financially, what would it be? Other than to talk to you, obviously.
Something that they could do, just start. Just look at something. It's wherever you are right now is where you're supposed to be. And it's always a good place to start. Just start putting some money away. Doesn't have to be a whole lot, but it needs to be something.
And so even something even if it was just $20 a month consistently and just sticking with it, it's better than nothing. I do feel like a lot of times I'll do this when. I'll do that when. We'll start this when. And then it's that when that always hesitates us from
I'm just not ready for that yet.
Yep.
Yeah, and you have 2 children. Were you ready? I always tell everybody you're not.
No.
But But it happens, and it's a great blessing.
Yeah. I knew I was having a ticking time bomb of, getting older, but so it was kind of, that was a little bit of the push. Right when Eric and I got together, I was like, so I need to have my first child before.
Right. But they didn't come with a manual.
True.
When you got married, that didn't come with a manual. Even though I always tell my husband when he's doing something that I don't like, did you not read page 37?
Right.
It's halfway down the page. You should have read right there. That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Oh.
He's just like, yeah, I remember. But my whole point is just start.
Start saving, or start an account, or start something, it sounds like.
Yeah, pick up the phone, call someone. Call somebody that you trust.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. I think that somebody you can be aligned with.
And if you don't have someone you trust, just ask the questions, it sounds like. Ask
Right.
the questions. How consistently will we meet? Right? Ask the questions, where do you get your information from? It sounds
Why
like
do you want to do that and not this? Just, there are no dumb questions. This is your money, your livelihood, your retirement. So ask the questions.
Yeah, be curious. Okay, excellent. And then
I like that. Be curious. That's a good one.
Yeah, because I think that being curious, it just allows you to explore. If you don't ask they say that the value of your conversation is based on the questions you ask. And so, you do want to make sure that you are hearing the right things that are going to resonate with your goals. And so, I know some places you go to, they have agendas, perhaps bigger companies, like I know like an Edward Jones, sometimes they have those particular packages they like to offer. Maybe they'll work with your situation, maybe not. So, you just want to be curious.
Well, and that's the thing that I guess bothers me, because there's no cookie cutter fit for anyone. And you need to know what that person's goals are, what their intentions are, and you need to be able to help them pivot when they change their mind and want to do something else. So yeah, don't do the cookie cutter thing, because it's your life. It's all about you. And make sure that you're part of the conversation and that somebody's not telling you what to do.
Right. That's true. 'Cause no one's like you,
Right.
That's so true. No one's in the same exact situation with the same goals and everything.
Well, and then when I'm talking about pivoting is because as we grow, our goals change. So that's what my pivot is.
Right. And it's okay to change course. It's okay
absolutely.
to make, a detour and things. Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell me, what books would you recommend people to read in order to, around this industry?
Well, remember I said I like things simple. So I like to have people read, Patrick Kelly is the author, and he has 2 books. One is Tax-Free Retirement.
Sounds good to me.
It is good. And the second one is Stress-Free Retirement.
Even better.
Right. But I always have everybody read the Tax-Free Retirement first, because he refers back to that book in Stress-Free Retirement.
Okay.
And they're very simple reads. And like I said, I like it because he's very articulate, I guess, the way he puts it. He puts it very simple language so everyone can understand it.
Beautiful. So not doing what you said that some people do and just load it with jargon that none of us really understand. Make it so the average person who, didn't go into years of schooling can actually understand.
Exactly. So that's a really good place to start.
Okay. Well, Betty, thank you so much for being here. Everyone, all you have to do is just get started. It sounds like you just want to start with one thing, whether it's just saving a little bit or talking to someone like Betty to hear about the loads and loads of different options.
Absolutely. And there's options to fit you.
Yes. So make sure you focus on yourself and your futures and your retirements, and then futures helps people move forward. So give Betty a call and just learn a bit, because you're a wealth of information.
Thank you. And follow me on LinkedIn.
There you go. Thanks. Thank you for watching Tales with Taylor. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the Financial Potion YouTube channel to never miss an episode.